Usman Jibrila. Nigeria records over 490 COVID-19 cases. Humanity's unending need for production and consumption threatened the ecosystem. Bill court sitting in Abuja affirms suspension of Comrade Adams Shomoli as member and national chairman. This and more on Panorama in just a moment. Nigeria has confirmed 400 new cases of COVID-19 as at midnight of 16th June 2020. This brings the total number of confirmed cases to 17,108. 5,623 patients were discharged with 455 deaths recorded. The breakdown of confirmed cases has 142 cases. FCT 60, Bayelsa 54, Rivers 36, Delta 37, and Oyo has 30. Others, Kaduna with 26, 23, Enugu 19, But 16, Gombe 11, Ondo 10, Bauchi, Ogun 7, Borno 6, and Benue has 1 new case. In a bid to mitigate the country, health professionals in 3 states comprising and Zamfara states are to come up with a monitoring and peer review mechanism to support the implementation of health development in their domain. That this came to the fore at the regional consultative of the 3 states held at the Senate Chamber, Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto.
We apologize for the freezing pictures from Sokoto. We'll now take over Panorama from Abuja. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Festus Daudu, has advocated synergy between the public and private sectors in tackling the coronavirus pandemic, as government cannot fight the scourge alone. Receiving a hand washing and sanitizing equipment donated to the ministry by the International Institute of Certified Forensic Investigation Professionals, the Permanent Secretary extolled the ingenuity of Nigerian youths through local inventions to combat coronavirus.
With this challenge now, our youth have been exposed to come up with their own initiatives in the fight against COVID-19. It's a collective fight, and I believe that together, if we put all our efforts together, we'll be able to come out victorious.
This hand wash and sanitizing machine, use with your foot. You press the soap, you get the soap, you press the water, you wash your hand, and you sanitize your hand, and you go. There is nothing like hand contact in the process. So it's safer, beautifully done by a Nigerian youth, and we found it very important and key to promote Nigerian youth.
The Institute says more of the equipment will be distributed to other federal ministries as part of its corporate social responsibility to support the fight against COVID-19. The federal government has threatened to sack all striking National Association of Resident Doctors who failed to report to work on Wednesday, today, as the ongoing reconciliation meeting ended in deadlock. Minister of Health Dr. Osage Hanire has directed all chief medical directors of federal medical centers to open a register by 7 o'clock in the morning and close it at 12 noon to take record of those who come to work and those who fail to turn up. The meeting, which commenced at 1:30 p.m. Tuesday, ended at 7:45 after members of the association, led by the president, stormed out of the meeting, insisting that they would only suspend the ongoing action within 24 hours if the government brings something tangible on the table.
Health is a very sensitive matter, especially when we now have a pandemic. And we have ILO conventions at work and on strike to guide us at these perilous times. So the Minister of Health will speak because we have to put up some ad hoc arrangements. The government has to put up some ad hoc arrangements to preserve the people of Nigeria.
The resident doctors have told us that they're not going to be returning to work very soon until certain other conditions are met, and we are not sure that they will not continue extending the goalpost every time we try to reach a solution. Therefore, certain steps need to be taken to protect citizens, particularly those who are in hospital, and most particularly those who are looking for emergency service and those who are in intensive care for COVID-19.
Humanity's unending need for production and consumption continues to threaten the well-being of natural ecosystems. World Desertification and Drought Day is therefore initiated to create awareness on global efforts to preserve land and its resources. Onengie Fineface reports.
Human population is growing steadily, and with increasing population comes increasing demand for land to produce food, animal feed, and fiber for clothing. In our quest to meet up with these demands, land resources continue to be exploited and degraded at unsustainable levels, causing damage to the ecosystems and biological diversity. Now, over 2 billion hectares of productive land are said to be degraded, while human activities have led to the transformation of over 70% of natural ecosystems. To mitigate these, the United Nations set aside 17th of June every year as World Desertification and Drought Day.
The year's event focuses on the intense human activities and unsustainable method of production and consumption to meet the demand for food, feed, and their impact on the limited land resources.
In Nigeria, the federal government is implementing policies like the planting of 25 million trees to restore degraded forest covers and protect livelihoods of people who depend on the land for survival.
We raise the seedlings, and we also acquire seedlings from other agencies and from organizations. We should have enough to plant the 25 million and even beyond by the grace of God before the end of this year. We are working with the state government. They are giving us a lot of cooperation. Some of them are taking seedlings from us, planting and maintaining those seedlings, even private organizations, schools.
The Great Green Wall project of the Federal Ministry of Environment is also making impact in checking desert encroachment in 11 frontline states of the country.
Particularly in northern Nigeria, where land degradation is so much affecting the socio-economic activities of people. We believe that the more trees we have, the better soil we have, the better agricultural production we have, the better means of livelihood for the people living in those places, because trees and other vegetation protect the soil. It protects infrastructure in the area.
Nigeria, like our counterparts the world over, is promoting public awareness and advancing strong community involvement to achieve land degradation neutrality, which is at the core of the 2020 commemoration of World Desertification and Drought Day. In Abuja, Onengie Fineface, NT News.
Meanwhile, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State is seeking the blessings of residents of President Muhammadu Buhari as he seeks the renewal of his mandate for a second term of office. The governor stated this while briefing newsmen after an audience with the president. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details. We apologize for that. We'll now take a break. We'll continue afterwards. Thank you for staying with us. To talk more on the 2020 Desertification Day, we're going to go to Sokoto to join the Muazu Ahmadu Suka, who is a project manager, Sokoto Afforestation Program. Good morning and thank you for joining us on Panorama. Panorama. Okay, now we want you to talk more about the 2020 Desertification Day. How challenging is desertification in Nigeria?
Desertification is indeed one of the principal problems that we have, ecological problems that we have here along the 11 frontline states. Desertification and drought. In Sokoto State in particular, out of the northern local government areas that we have this project that passes through the corridor, some of those local government areas now have been affected by banditry. So it's one of the challenges that we're having right now.
Okay, now, what should government do to curb this menace in Nigeria?
Could do. Out of the 8 local government areas that the corridor of the Great Green Wall project passes through, traverses the state. And Sokoto State has one of the largest fronts of the Great Green Wall project because we have about approximately 300 kilometers that traverses the northern part of our state.
Okay, now, I don't know if you heard my second question. I was asking you, what do you think government should do about this menace of desertification in Nigeria?
The problem of desertification is not a new one, but other issues like climate change have changed the dimension. Drought and desertification are closely associated, and that is one of the principal problems that we're having in the 11 frontline states. So another problem is that of population pressure. This area, the Sudano-Sahelian ecosystem, is home to most of the livestock that we have in the country and an expanding population. We have over 100 million people living in this fragile ecosystem. In the past, the ecosystem had been relatively stable, but with the climate change dimension, the pressure on the land has really become much. Even though over the years, both the state government and the federal government in concert, together with our foreign partners, have made several interventions to arrest the problem of desertification. But one of the major inputs that need to be looked into is that of sustainable land management. Because in the past, the approaches that we had to conservation were from the colonial era. We had in situ conservation strategy, whereby our forest reserve estate formed a bulwark that protected our biodiversity and our climate regime. But all our forest reserves now are under massive pressure because of unsustainable land use practices.
Now, talking about this observance we're having today, how significant is it?
Significant. Just on the 5th of June this month, we celebrated the World Environment Day. We talked about biodiversity, which is a very important thing. Today we are celebrating World Desertification Day. So the link between these 2 days is that our biodiversity, which when we talk about biodiversity, we are talking about the myriad life forms that God has placed here on earth. And to know that science knows about only 2 million out of about an estimated 100 million species, then to think that we are going to lose about half of this by the end of the century due to extinction. And this crisis is caused by ecological problems like desertification, for example. So it's really a huge thing. And World Desertification Day is to create awareness about the dangers that we're now facing globally.
Now, talking about awareness, which you just mentioned, how aware are Nigerians about desertification, the dangers of desertification?
it's not just about awareness. The media have done a very good job. I must commend NTA in particular for your Panorama flagship program. But the problem is those people living in these areas that are prone to desertification have problems of poverty. That's the reason why projects like the Great Green Wall Project target these vulnerable members of society through some programs that will kind of bring down the level of poverty. So it's about choice. They don't have choice. So they have to use the natural endowments that we have without thinking about the consequences. Then, of course, earlier on I talked about the expanding population and the pressure on this fragile ecosystem that we have.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on Panorama. We've been talking with Moazu Ahmadu Suka, who is the project manager, Sokoto Afforestation Program. Thank you for coming on Panorama. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has affirmed the suspension of Comrade Adams Oshomole as a member and national chairman of All Progressives Congress, ruling on the interlocutory appeal filed by Comrade Oshomole. The appellate court upheld the decision of the Federal Capital Territory High Court delivered by Justice Dankami Senchi, which in March ordered the suspension of Oshomole as well as restraining him from parading himself as the national chairman of the party. In a unanimous judgment in the first appeal delivered by Justice Eunice Onyenaman, the court held that the FCT High Court had territorial jurisdiction to have entertained the suit as it did. The court also withdrew his rights and privileges as national chairman of the party, including his security details. The appeal court predicated its decision on the grounds that Comrade Oshomole, as the first appellant, is based in Abuja, while the APC also has its national headquarters in Abuja. In the judgment on the second appeal delivered by Justice Mohammed Lamido, the court disagreed with Comrade Oshomole that their right to fair hearing was breached by the trial court. Justice Lamido further said that there was no basis for the two appellants to hold that they were denied fair hearing during proceedings at the FCT High Court. It further held that the suspension of Comrade Oshomole from Ward 10 of Etsako, local government of Edo State, was ratified at the ward, local and state government level as required by law. And the identity of those who suspended him were not in doubt because, in their unchallenged affidavit, they made it clear that they were party members and officers of the party. Therefore, the appeal lacks merit. Comrade Adams Oshomole and the All Progressives Congress are the appellants in the two dismissed appeals. Meanwhile, National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress says it has received the news indicating the appeal court has upheld the suspension of the party's national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, by an FCT High Court pending the determination of the substantive suit. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Isaonilo, in a statement said, APC is guided by advice from the party's legal department in line with the provisions of Section 14.23 of the party's constitution, and that the Deputy National Chairman South, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, will serve as the party's acting national chairman. According to Section 14.23 of the APC Constitution, the Deputy National Chairman North-South shall act as the national chairman in the absence of the national chairman from his zone. A delegation of security service chiefs has arrived Katsina State and about now holding closed-door meeting with Governor Aminu Masari on the lingering security challenges in the state. Troops rescue 33 people abducted and eliminate 22 terrorists in Borno State. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole and some elements of the Civilian Joint Task Force have rescued 32 people abducted and eliminated 22 Boko Haram members during an ambush and clearance operations. In a statement, the Coordinator Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, indicates that the rescued comprises 16 women, 16 children, and 1 male adult. Major General Enenche notes that the encounter that spanned through Goza, Askira, Uba, Bama, Gamboru, Ngala, and Ganze local government area of Borno State also captured one terrorist, recovered several arms, destroyed criminal camps, while many Boko Haram members escaped with gunshot injuries. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, and the Military High Command commends the armed forces for their patriotism and urged them to sustain the tempo to ensure rapid mopping up of the remnants of the terrorists. Sports is next. English Premier League set to resume on Wednesday. Tamara Abiwe brings us more on sports updates. Thank you for being a part of it all. I am Lydia Ojiji Ochi. Have a wonderful day.